go with the first in the series of the 100 meters, and Adewale looking very strong again as they come through. And a superb run, a great victory once again there.
This 15-year-old kid just did something that has the entire athletics world talking. When Divine Iheme stepped onto the track at Lee Valley, nobody expected what happened next.
You broke the world record over 60 metres for a 15-year-old at the start of the year. How did that feel?
It felt amazing. To have another one to my name, I was like, this is really where I want to go with track.
This isn't just fast for a teenager. This time makes Divine Iheme the fastest British under-18 sprinter in history. To put that in perspective, when Noah Lyles was 14, he ran 11.27 seconds. Divine ran 10.30 at that same age. That's almost a full second faster than the guy who would go on to win Olympic gold in Paris. So who is this kid, and how did he get so ridiculously fast? Divine Iheme was born in Oxford on October 1st, 2009. His friends call him Lightning Divine, and once you see him run, you'll understand why. But here's the thing about Divine. Speed literally runs in his family. Both his parents were sprinters who represented Nigeria at the 2002 Commonwealth Games in Manchester. His mom, Nkiruka, ran the 100 and 200 meters, while his dad, Innocent, competed in the 100 and long jump. Even his grandparents were runners. Divine jokes that his mom knew he'd be fast before he was even born. Nkiruka told this to reporters, "I knew when he was in my tummy. When I was pregnant, he kept on kicking." Divine didn't start with athletics, though. He tried gymnastics first, then switched to track when he was 7. Even in primary school, other kids couldn't keep up with him in the 75-meter races. There would always be this big gap, Divine remembers. I'd always look back saying, did I run that? It felt kind of weird to me. The moment everything changed was at the 2023 English Schools Athletics Championships. Divine was just 13 years old when he won the 100 meters in 11.7 seconds. That's when he realized this wasn't just a hobby anymore. He said, I was like, this is what I want to do. But here's where Divine's story gets really interesting. His coach isn't some famous trainer or athletics guru. It's his mom. After her athletics career ended, Nkiruka spent 9 years in the British Army. That military background shaped how she coaches her son. She and Divine's father started the PWD Athletic Academy in Oxford, which stands for Power, Will, and Drive. Divine trains there 4 times a week, and his mom doesn't go easy on him just because he's her son. Once we enter the track, I don't look at him as my son, Nkiruka explains. I have to get down to business, so I take off motherhood and bring in the coach. Divine admits the training is tough. It's tough, very tough. I can't escape any sessions, he says with a smile. But he also recognizes how much this unique setup helps him. Divine said, she knows me more than anyone because I'm her son. She knows how to critique me well, which bits I'm stronger at and which bits I'm weaker at. Her training is what got me those 2 records, and what records they are. In August 2024, when Divine was still 14, he ran 10.30 seconds at Lee Valley. This smashed the previous world record for 14-year-olds by over 0.2 of a second. In sprinting, that's massive. When I first saw it, I was in utter shock. I couldn't believe it. Divine said after that race, I was jumping about, running around, I just felt so happy. But Divine wasn't done breaking records. After turning 15 in October, he set his sights on indoor sprinting. In January 2025, he broke the world record for 15-year-olds in the 60 meters, running 6.72 and then 6.71 seconds in back-to-back races in London. Then came his most recent performance. In August 2025, back at Lee Valley, Divine ran 10.29 seconds with a legal wind reading. This made him not just the fastest 15-year-old in the world, but the fastest British under-18 sprinter ever. To understand how special this is, only 2 Europeans in history have run faster as under-18 athletes. Britain's Teddy Wilson at 10.26 and France's Jeff Arias at 10.27. So how does someone get this fast this young? Divine studies the best sprinters in history, but he doesn't try to copy them. I've watched quite a lot of Usain Bolt's races and Allyson Felix's 200-meter, 400-meter, and relays, he explains. Probably the first race I watched was Bolt's 200-meter world record, the 19.19, and I was inspired to pursue the dream. But Divine said this about his style. I think my running style is unique and natural. I don't try to model it from anyone. It's just a God-given talent. His coach and mother agrees. She sees something special in how he approaches racing. He looks at records and says, "I want to beat that." The speed is there. The technique is there. What makes Divine's story even more impressive is that he's still a normal teenager in many ways. He loves binge-watching Netflix shows and hanging out with friends. But he also has big dreams driving him forward. "I always try to do my parents proud," he says. "I want to make sure that in the future, they can just sit back and relax while I can get them gifts, buy them a house, buy them things for their future." One big decision Divine had to make was which country to represent. Even though both his parents competed for Nigeria and he could choose to run for either country, Divine picked Great Britain. "Even though I'm from Nigeria, I was born here. I've had free education, free school meals. Everyone here has been taking care of me, so I feel like I'm going to run for Great Britain because they have helped me the most." This decision means British athletics has a potential superstar in their ranks. Divine isn't just thinking about age group records anymore. His goals are getting serious. "I'm hoping to run a personal best of 10.2 or even lower," he says about his 100-meter ambitions. "And I'm aiming to get my 200 meters down much, much quicker, sub 21. But Divine's biggest dream is even bolder. "I can see myself with an Olympic title to my name in the 100 and the 200, and hopefully it will happen." British sprint legend Dinah Asher-Smith has already reached out with encouragement, and the athletics world is taking notice. Divine even follows other young sprint talents like Australia's Gout, who recently ran 20.2 seconds in the 200 meters. "He's doing great. I saw his recent 20.2, and I was really happy for him," Divine said about Gout. These two teenagers might be the future of world sprinting, but experts warn that junior success doesn't always translate to senior championships. Former world indoor champion Dwayne Chambers puts it perfectly. "Many of us who have been in athletics for a long time understand that it's a marathon. It's about teaching the athletes skills on and off the track. It's a case of nurturing at the right time." Right now, Divine is focused on continuing to improve. His coach thinks he could run even faster this season, possibly hitting 10.3 or 10.4 seconds by the end of the year. With his technique solid and his speed still developing, there's no telling how fast he might eventually go. The comparison to Noah Lyles at the same age keeps coming up, and it's worth repeating. At 14, Lyles ran 11.27 seconds. Divine ran 10:30. That's not just faster, it's in a completely different league. What happens next will determine whether Divine joins the ranks of sprint legends or becomes another cautionary tale about junior athletes who peak too early. But right now, everything points toward a bright future. His training is professional, his support system is strong, and his times keep dropping. At 15 years old, Divine Iheme has already rewritten the record books for his age group. The question isn't whether he can run fast. He's already proved that. The question is how much faster he can go. In just 20 seconds, something crazy happened. The crowd didn't clap. People looked around, unsure. Then, something even stranger took place on the track. Who was that running so fast? Why did everyone suddenly yell his name? What was going on? No one had a clue. Even the people watching right in front couldn't believe it. Something big had just happened, but no one could explain it yet. They say revenge is sweetest when served under pressure. And for Noah Lyles, that revenge came with a 6th Diamond League final title in the 200 meters, one in the most breathtaking finish you can imagine. He had already gone head-to-head with the reigning Olympic champ, Letsile Tebogo from Botswana. Tebogo had beaten Lyles at the Paris Olympics in a shocker that left everyone stunned. Lyles came up with bronze while Tebogo stood tall with gold. But this time around in Zurich, Lyles rewrote the ending. It all came down to the home stretch. Tebogo had Lyles boxed in early, slicing through the curve with that signature burst of speed. But Lyles has always been about the sprint that matters most. And just when you expected Tebogo to cross the line first, Lyles unleashed something special. In a blur of motion, he edged ahead, crossing the line in 19.74 seconds, just 0.02 ahead of Tebogo. Literally a blink separated them. Right there in Zurich, Lyles claimed the win, 6th Diamond League final 200-meter crown in hand. It was that kind of finish that gives you goosebumps. But this wasn't just another trophy. This victory cemented Lyles as the most successful track athlete in Diamond League history. No one else had ever won 6 finals. Before him, athletes like Christian Taylor and Renaud Lavillenie reigned in field events. But in sprinting, in this circuit, Lyles stands alone. The visuals say it all. The stadium hushes. Lyles digs deep. He leans. Tebogo learns. A photo finish decided it. Then the eruption of emotion from Lyles, pure, unfiltered. There was elation, because this was more than a win. It was redemption. More than just a statement, it's a boost of confidence heading into the next stage, the World Championships in Tokyo. Lyles doesn't just step into Tokyo with momentum. He strides in looking untouchable. He already owns 6 world titles, including 200-meter wins in 2019 and 2023, and knows exactly what it takes to deliver when the pressure's highest. This wasn't just a race, it was a smackdown, a comeback, a statement. Imagine the Olympic champ breathing down your neck, and then you reclaim that ground in the blink of an eye. That's exactly how Noah Lyles sealed his 6th Diamond League final win. A few months earlier in Paris, Lyles bit the dust. He went into the 200 meters at the Olympics hoping for double gold. Instead, Letzel Tebogo caught fire and delivered Botswana's first Olympic gold in the event. Lyles collapsed at the finish, overcame illness, and watched from the podium in bronze. That loss stung, and it lingered. For someone like Lyles, who thrives on winning and legacy, that bronze medal was more than a defeat. It was a wake-up call. He went quiet on social media. He avoided big interviews. Behind the scenes, though, he was training like a man possessed. Every sprint, every weight session, every mental rep was focused on one thing: redemption. And not just any redemption, he wanted the world to know he was still the king of the 200 meters. Fast forward to Zurich. Same event, same rivals, but the storyline had changed. Lyles had a chip on his shoulder, a spectacular track record, his 200-meter personal best of 19.31, world titles, speed, power. This wasn't about what happened in Paris. It was about what was happening now. The stands were ready. The world was watching. And Zurich wasn't just a Diamond League final. It was a test, a pressure cooker. Every athlete on that track had something to prove, but no one had more writing on it than Lyles. He knew a win here would flip the script. It wasn't just about the title. It was about rewriting the story of his season. From the gun, Tebogo took charge. He sliced through the curve, forcing Lyles to trail. The clock ticked, and for a moment it felt like déjà vu. But then Lyles dug in. His arms flew. His drive phases lit up. Approaching the finish line, Lyles surged. You could feel the tension, 2 lean-ins, 2 breaths of decision, 0.02 of a second. Lyles clinched it, 19.74 to 19.76, a razor-thin margin. After the race, the celebration wasn't loud. It was powerful. Lyles didn't jump or scream. He stood still for a second, then smiled. He pointed to the sky. That smile wasn't about happiness. It was about relief, about knowing that all the pain, all the silence, all the doubt had led to this moment. This win wasn't just about today. It meant Lyles became the winningest track athlete in Diamond League final history. 6 titles to his name. A legacy moment in Zurich. Ahead of Tokyo, that's a statement of dominance. On form, on confidence, on history. Wins don't just look good. They ignite something deeper. Lyles spoke after the race. 6 in a row, the most in track. I saw Letzel lean. I leaned. I knew I won. That calm, that clarity. That's an athlete who's been at the edge and knows how to win there. Now he's heading to Tokyo gliding on a wave. He isn't just going to Tokyo for the fun of it. He's going with a plan, a goal, maybe even a little vengeance. The kind of fire only a true champion carries after being doubted. And if history tells us anything about Lyles, it's that he doesn't run just to win. He runs to leave a mark. The track beckons. The World Championships in Tokyo are next. Lyles carries momentum and history. He knows Tebogo well now. They met once. Tebogo won. They met again. Lyles hit back. Now they'll meet on the biggest world stage. With that drive, experience, and 6 world titles already, Lyles stands ready for whatever's next. This isn't just a victory. It's the spark before the storm, or the calm before the championship charge. Lyles has the speed. He has the history. The only thing left is to deliver when the world watches again. And make no mistake, the world will be watching, because when someone gets knocked down and comes back stronger, it makes you wonder, how far can they really go? How much can one person take before breaking, or before breaking records? Noah Lyles just wrote another chapter in a story that feels like it's only getting started. 6 Diamond League crowns, sky-high confidence, a rematch ready for Tokyo. What happens next could make history. Again. Will he carry that Zurich fire into gold on the world stage? Whatever happens, we're all watching, and he's not backing down. Noah Lyles just did the unthinkable, beating the Olympic champ in the final seconds and making track history in the process. But what happened at the finish line left everyone in shock. Noah, an American sprint star who already held multiple world titles and had a personal best of 19.31 seconds in the 200 meters, had a unique target. He was going for a 6th straight Diamond League final win in the 200, a feat no other track athlete had ever pulled off. His rival across the field was none other than Olympic champion Letziel Tebogo, the young legend from Botswana who had stunned the world by beating Noah in the Olympic 200 final. Tonight's race wasn't just another contest. It was poised to be a showdown where past pain met burning ambition. This was more than a sprint. This was a mental battle. Everyone watching knew the storylines. They knew Lyles had been dominant in the Diamond League, but had fallen short when it mattered most at the Olympics. And Tebogo, he was the new face of speed. Calm under pressure, with a stride so relaxed it looked effortless even at top speed. It was a clash of eras, of mentalities, of 2 runners with everything to prove. When the gun went off, Tebogo leapt ahead. His smooth, powerful stride carried him just ahead as they rounded the bend. It looked eerily similar to the Olympic replay. Tebogo out front, calm, collected. But Noah wasn't about to repeat the mistakes of the past. He wasn't panicking. He remembered every stride, every fall, every moment that led him here. The crowd got even louder as the runners reached the last part of the race. Then, like a flash, Noah started running even faster. With his body leaning forward and every part of him pushing hard, he focused completely on the finish line. Right at the last second, he passed Tebogo and won the race just barely by only 0.02 seconds, finishing in 19.74 seconds. 19.74, practically flying. And with that, Noah clinched his 6th consecutive Diamond League final victory in the 200. No athlete before had ever made it 6. Suddenly, the record book felt different because he was in it alone. But what made this race even more remarkable was what you couldn't see on the stopwatch. It wasn't just about the time, it was about timing. Noah timed that final push with the precision of a sniper. He didn't lead the whole way. He stalked his opponent, waited, and attacked at the exact moment when the world thought Tebogo had it sealed. His words after the race captured it perfectly. 6 in a row, the most in track. It is pretty nice to have that. I saw Letziel lean on the finish line, but I knew I won. I knew if I panicked, I was not going to win. If you are tight, you are done for. Those sentences weren't rehearsed. They were raw, honest, the kind of insight only someone who's sprinted that close to defeat and snatched victory might have. Tebogo's reaction was mature too. He said watching Lyles win, he realized how much Noah had grown in humility since the Olympic loss. You have to let the legs do the talk, he said. The more you talk and you cannot prove it means you only talk. You do not prove yourself. But for me, I do not talk. I just let the legs do its thing. That level of respect, that competitive poise, it's what makes this rivalry feel like more than just a contest. It's a chapter in sprinting history being written out loud. The stakes were high, not just for bragging rights. With the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo on the horizon, this was huge. For Noah, after a couple of 100-meter losses earlier that season, winning here was exactly the confidence boost he needed. It wasn't just another medal to hang on the wall, it was a statement, loud and clear, to every sprinter lining up in Tokyo, he's still the man to beat. And the atmosphere? It was absolutely electric. The Diamond League final, the premier stage in track and field, had drawn the world's biggest stars to Zurich's Letzigrund from August 27th to 28th. This wasn't your average end-of-season event. It felt more like a global summit of the sport's best. Athletes knew this was the last real test before Tokyo, and everyone showed up hungry. Lyles' win was just one of the headlines. Julian Alfred made a comeback splash, clocking 10.76 seconds to win the women's 100 and silence any doubts about her recovery. Javelin became a stage for pure drama. Julian Weber unleashed a world-leading 91.51 meters, pushing Olympic champ Neeraj Chopra into second.